client asked me a question the other day about you go through the process of AccuMatch, and it's a segue into how do people find out how good it is, or how is it just for coaches, or can other people, can non-coaches use it? Which is, I had a segue into, I'm coaching a sales manager, and put a sales manager, if I ran his team through it, could the sales manager use this as a tool? It's not just a coach tool, but it's also helping a sales manager understand how his team, the dynamics of his team works. Well, I just wanted to throw that out to the group and see if it's worth doing as a process, because I've got sales directors and sales managers who are my area of sphere of influence, and they're going, I need to work better with my team. And I said, oh, well, you need to be better sales managers, but I don't understand them. And I was just thinking, well, how do you get to understand these guys a little bit more as a starting point? And he's new to the role, by the way. He was one of them, and he's now not one of them, and is struggling being not one of them now, and he needs to be someone different. Jesus, that's confusing.
So that's a good question. That's where the leadership behavior intelligence program has come forward in that area. It was really from people asking, okay, I've got a leader. Instead of me trying to figure out as a coach, how do I use AccuMatch with this person? Is there a process? Is there a way, a step-by-step program that I can follow? And that's really what we've got now, is a 12-week leadership behavior intelligence program to create better leaders, to help them communicate better, to help them understand their blind spots, their triggers, and how they trigger other people, and to understand the team and so forth.
Okay. What about the context of, you've got 4 or 5 people reporting into someone, and this manager wants to work in a different way, wants to be a better sales? Is that what you're saying? So he can be a better sales leader, or is it about understanding the people that he's trying to lead so he can connect with them better? That's kind of where my space is. That's where my headspace is at the moment. I've got 4 or 5 people. I'm new to the role. How do I, like we as coaches, how do we get into these people, get in between their ears really quickly? So I, as a sales leader or a leader of people, can use this tool to my advantage. That was the proposition I'm beginning to do.
So
that's part of my ongoing engagements. Yeah.
So I want to separate the leadership from the context for a minute. Okay. So the leadership is a management style, how to engage people, how to understand people, how to interact with them, lead them. This is leadership regardless of whether it's sales, engineering, whatever, right? The context of sales has some specific tasks, right? Does he have KPIs in place? What sort of CRM using, tasks?
Sales hygiene. Yeah.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
It does. I just wanted to throw it around the group to see whether I'm on the right track.
Go around and see what else other people think.
It's interesting you use the phrase, I'm not coaching AccuMatch. And I think that's good, because the thing for me has always been that the power of what AccuMatch gives us as coaches is laser sharp, quick insight into some behavior traits that a person may have not been conscious of, and therefore it gives us the conversation prompt to start to work on certain behaviors. So the AccuMatch map in itself ultimately becomes irrelevant at different periods of time in the coaching process, coaching relationship. So for me, I think it's something that I would use, I use it to start to focus on certain behaviors, and then through the coaching process, in context, look at the combination of behaviors that helps me understand and therefore work with the individual on what is underneath those behavior patterns. So you start to get down to some of the beliefs underpinning it. What are the habits? What's driving them? That's the coaching. And when need be, I'm assuming then we can then bring back the AccuMatch map and say, right, let's have another look that we're understanding your behavior at a deeper level, what this map is signaling that we might want to have more conversation about. So for me, it is the very, very focused conversation prompt. It tells me where to work with a person. It pinpoints it. And I can do that then with somebody who's in a leadership role. I can help them understand themselves and work with how do they then engage with their team of 4, 5, 10, whatever it might be. It's all around the behavior patterns and the habits and the beliefs that underpin it. We have a tool that helps us avert that a lot quicker. a person's behaviour is not a silo. They behave in context with other people.
My opinion is any leader does really well to use AccuMatch because I like it because it compartmentalizes. So you know, how much orientation towards self does this person have, and how much orientation towards others gives me an idea of what I need to do and say to get them to take action. So in terms of leadership, I totally support the idea of the leader and his team all doing AccuMatch and it being overlaid, because it'll stick out like where things match and where they're at variance. So, you know, and also just little things like the emotion logic stuff. It's the only graph I've ever seen of the continuum of how much someone's oriented to an emotional response to a situation as going into a logical response. The need for change in the environment is also locked in there in the clock area of it. So it's more the precision of the instrument that I like, because it asks more questions about more aspects of life, I think, than DISC does. I like to do AccuMatch up front because it gives me the information about the behaviour, and then when there is a behaviour that works against their goal, then we can start using AccuMatch as a point of conversation of saying, hey, you notice you've got this behaviour, but you've got this goal. This behaviour seems to be working against your goal. Like Mark's thing about a salesman with letter D, it's like, well, that behaviour is definitely working against you hitting your monthly targets.